What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Spill the Beans podcast.
Happy Friday. There is 24 days left to Halloween. And today's theme, today's costume, bitch, I'm a cow. Have you heard that TikTok sound?
No.
That's the only thing that comes up. But look at Mr. Franco.
Franco.
Mira, pa. Mira.
Move on over, bud.
Hello. Oh, besito.
All right, guys. We are a family of cows today. I tried to paint my face, but as you can see, it didn't come out good. I thought I was going to eat.
You have to put it more up so they can see your face. Yeah.
Here it is?
Yep. Look at how cute he looks. If it gets super, super cold for Halloween, this will probably be our trick-or-treating costume because you can really layer it under. But look at him. Handsome. All right, but thank you
Thank you for coming out to the Spill the Beans podcast show.
Please email us your invoice.
Yes, sir, and we'll have you next week, okay? All right, guys. We are back and better than ever. Happy Friday.
There really is. So today is the 7th.
Yeah.
And there is 24 days left for Halloween. How freaking crazy is that?
That's crazy.
I feel like this month has been going by super fast because we've been doing a lot of work stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's, oh my God, next week's episode is going to be so cool. You guys are going to get to hear a secret that we've been keeping for a long time. So stay tuned for that. But actually, let me put my hat on.
Yeah, babe. Come on. We also have some exciting stuff coming for next week's podcast, guys. We're actually going to visit one of the most haunted places in Colorado, and we're going to try to film the podcast from there. So stay tuned because that's going to be crazy.
So actually, I was going to tell you guys, because we have a couple haunted places here in Colorado.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys exactly what they are. But so we have a friend, Celine. She is Simply Fashion's owner. And she's like super crazy, right? She likes to actually go to these places and she does what they tell you. They're like, go turn off your car, turn off the lights, put like baby powder on your car and stuff. And she's done all of this before, but she said that she hasn't really felt or done anything because I do believe that she says she doesn't really believe in that, right?
No, I don't think so.
And I think sometimes like spirits and like demons and all of that have to feed off of your fear.
Yeah.
In order to like actually asustarte vibes, you know? But let me tell you guys, do you have any by the top of your head?
What?
Like
Places?
the haunted places?
I know there's this road. It's called... what's the name of the road? It's like right before you get to there. No, right before. You pass Topgolf, guys, over here by Thornton. And supposedly that road, there's like, you can see like bodies hanging from the trees sometimes. And there's like a car that speeds next to you, like, or will pass you really fast. And that's the stuff I've heard on it. I don't know what happened. I just know there was like an accident there and someone crashed. But apparently that's what happened.
Yeah, let me see if it comes up on this because this one, it says the top 10 most haunted places in Colorado. And that road isn't one of them, actually.
Really?
I guess the number one, oh my God, you know what? For the, for a
Don't
podcast.
say the place we're going to, though.
No, but for one of them, we should actually go and visit all of them.
Yeah.
Because this one, it says number one is the Molly Brown house in Denver.
Ooh.
So this one says... it gives you like the exact address and it says, it does seem like poor Molly Brown can't catch a break. First, she gets all caught up in the sinking of the Titanic, and now her house is known as one of the most haunted places in Colorado.
Ooh,
what?
Let's go there.
Her house in Denver was built in 1889, although Molly and her husband, James Joseph Brown, JJ, didn't buy it until 1894. When Molly died in 1932, her home was split into 12 separate apartments.
Damn.
It was later a gentleman's boarding house before being leased to the city to serve as a home for wayward girls. What is a wayward girl?
I don't know.
Several entities are said to haunt the Molly Brown house, including both Molly and her husband, JJ. It is said that their daughter, Catherine Ellen, is also still around. Catherine died young due to disease, and now the blinds in her room go up and down on their own accord. At least 6 other spirits are in the building, and a number seem to come and go, much as Molly's many guests would have done while she was alive.
You know what we should do, babe?
What?
We should, like, post it on our Spill the Beans podcast, when we're going and which place we're going, and whoever like wants to go and just like see it with us, that'd be dope.
I wonder if it's still like an apartment building, do you think? Or do you think it's just abandoned?
Like, we don't even have to, like, obviously, if it's apartments, we can't go inside, but, like, just go outside.
No, I'm sure we could go inside because you know how they have, like, a hall where you can...
And then we'll, like, include those clips from, like, a vlog, you would say?
Yeah, it'll be a visual vlog podcast.
Yeah.
But
and then whoever watches a podcast, you would be in our podcast. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. We have a number 2 coming with the Central City Masonic Cemetery in Denver. Oh, hell no. You couldn't get me to go to a cemetery, babe. Unless it's like 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Okay, ready? The Central City, is it Masonic or Masonic? Mm-hmm. Cemetery lies about 35 miles west of Denver in an area known as the richest square mile on Earth. What? It came into use in the 1860s, and although it is now decaying and damaged, this is down to wear and tear. Oh, this is... What? Not me trying to be scary and then can't read. This is down to wear and tear over the years rather than vandalism. Like many cemeteries, it is also said to be incredibly haunted. A local story says that every April 5th and November 1st, coming up here soon, a beautiful lady in a black satin gown comes to lay flowers on the grave of John Edward Cameron. He passed away on November 1st, 1885, of paralysis of the heart. Oh. The lady planted a rose bush by his grave, which would bloom every spring. Is her presence here on April 5th her returning to tend the roses? She would also visit on the anniversary of his death and lay a bunch of columbines on his grave. She stopped visiting his grave in 1888, but a few years later, she started making her twice annual visits and has done so ever since. Should we go on November 1st and see if we see her?
Yeah, babe. I haven't heard of any of these, babe. These are lame. These are not like... This is probably white people scary.
Maybe.
Like, I want some hardcore shit.
The Highlands Ranch Mansion and Hotel Colorado in Glenwood Springs. Wait, didn't we stay there? Imagine.
Anyways, babe, we just got back from seeing a movie, and that shit was scary. I did not anticipate Smile to be that scary. Did you?
No. So I heard of Smile first from my sisters. They're like, oh, yeah, it's a scary movie called Smile, blah, blah, blah. I didn't really pay attention to it, whatever. And then Jonathan told me, oh, have you seen that the new Smile movie is being marketed super creepy?
Yeah.
And I was like, how? And then you told me, what was it on Twitter?
That I guess on like at baseball games, like the actors or whatever from Smile would buy the ticket right behind the ump. So the one where, where baseball players are about to hit the ball and then you can see like the people behind him. So apparently they bought those tickets, and then the girl would just smile the whole freaking game at the camera, like in a creepy, weird way. So I'm like, damn, how much did they get paid for doing that? Just 4 hours of there smiling like a creep.
Could you do that?
No, my muscles would hurt too much.
So yeah, guys. So basically, I think we've talked about the fact that we don't watch scary movies here or at anybody's houses except my parents. They really don't care. So since we were in California and we were there with our compadres, I was like, we should just go watch a movie because we were kind of laying low on Monday night. And we're like, let's go watch Smile because I heard that it's kind of creepy. My sisters were actually going to go watch it this weekend too, but they didn't let them in because it was rated R. So I was like, let's just go watch it since we're here. So we're like watching the freaking movie, right? And I guess I don't want to spoil it or whatever, but the pop-ups got me for sure. And I was telling Jonathan and our compadres, I was like, usually the music tells you when the pop-ups are coming up, right? So it like kind of gets you prepared in a way. And this one, no, girl. Like, I couldn't tell when they were going to come, you know?
Yeah, that shit was really scary, guys. It didn't look so scary in the trailers, but I don't know why. I think that's the cool part about it, that I wasn't expecting it to be that scary, and it was. I
also think that it was part of, like, it was scary in a sense that it made sense, because it was like, what was she?
Don't spoil it.
No.
Just don't say nothing about it, dude.
But I was just saying because it was scary because it is like mental health kind of stuff,
yeah. That's the thing I was talking about. Remember?
Yeah. That I was like, honestly, if I was put in that position, obviously you're going to be like, no, like, it's not real, like, trying to, and then it happens to you, and then people don't believe you, and then it's just a cycle, So I'm like, when people tell you, like, oh, I saw this, I saw that, like, ¿quiénes somos nosotros para decirles, no, you didn't see anything, exactly. Until it happens to you. So I was like, oh, hell no. And yeah, I was pretty spooked after it. So if you guys want to go watch Smile, I would not recommend you take your kids with you.
No, and if you do go, tag us, spill the beans on Instagram. Let us know how it went.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where in LA did we watch it?
La Brea?
Was
La
that
Brea,
no?
California? I think it
We
was.
drove pretty far.
Oh, no, it was like 15 minutes because we stayed in Anaheim, right?
No, we straight in La Brea.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where
I think
we
it's just
watched it
Brea.
then.
It's not La Brea.
Guys, we got so catfished though because
Yeah.
when I looked it up, all like 5 theaters came up, and then one of them was Dine-In AMC Theater. So I click on it. It's like, enjoy a delicious meal while watching your movie. Blah blah blah. We get there and they're like, yeah. So I mean, we can take it to you, but it's basically just bar food, and it tastes like 7-Eleven food. I couldn't even finish my food. Like it was bad.
Because
So
Colorado has one, right? And
yeah,
it's like way
and
fancier.
it's super fancy. Yeah.
I mean, I've never been, but I've heard it's
It's
fancy.
like basically it's like a restaurant in the theater, and here was no, it was like if you're at a bar type vibes with 7-Eleven food.
Yeah.
That has been frozen for 10 years and they barely deep fried it right there. You know?
I wonder if people from LA, for everyone listening that's from LA, do you guys get mad when we say like oh yeah, this in LA? Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like say you live in Anaheim or you live in Brea or you live in Compton, like do people that live there are like, no, it's not LA, it's actually this? Because I feel like if a lot of cool shit happened here around Denver, but let's say you went to like we had a really cool restaurant here in Longmont named, I don't know, Daddy's or something, and then but the people would always be like, yeah, Daddy's in Denver.
Oh,
you just like round it up.
I feel like it is kind of annoying when people say that.
Be like, no, say like, you know.
Because even then, like, you could be like, oh, yeah, we're going to LA. And then your Airbnb
we're
is
never in
fucking...
LA. We're actually never in LA.
Yeah, we really aren't.
We say all the time that we're going to LA, but we're never in LA. But I mean, you get the point.
It's just the vibes, you know? Like, that's the way people say, oh, we're going to LA. But whatever.
Next time I'm going to be like, oh, we're going to San Fernando Valley. How many episodes are you into the Jeffrey Dahmer show, babe?
Barely on episode 5.
Barely?
Yeah.
Well, how many are there?
I don't know, but I like people are like, oh, I binged it in one night.
Well, that's 4 more than me. Because I stopped right at episode 1, guys.
We actually were like, oh, yeah, like quality time. Let's watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show. The first episode comes on, we're like, girl, let's go to bed.
Yeah, it's not even that, like, it's scary for me, but I'll rather live my life, like, not having those images in my head.
And it's eerie, like, because it really, really goes into the depth of the victim's point of view. Like, it doesn't glorify Jeffrey Dahmer. So it's like just watching, it puts you in a bad mood, to be honest.
Yeah, so why do you watch it?
Because I want to know. Because I've heard about Jeffrey Dahmer, but it was never in this depth. You know, obviously when people cover it on YouTube and stuff, they don't go into like the details of, he did this and this to people.
You don't think like all these shows coming out about murderers are like not glorifying them? Like not like Netflix wants to glorify them, but people are like, oh shit, they got their own show.
Yes, because it's even like
there's girls that are like attracted to them even more and probably send them letters if they were alive. You know?
Like that the Midnight Walker in LA. Remember when he was in prison? He got so many freaking letters of like people being in love with him.
Babe, what would you do if we had a serial killer in our town?
I have no idea, especially if they tell you like he's targeting this and this and
Mexican
this.
women that drive Range Rovers.
Imagine.
Scranton killer?
Scranton, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's in office. Dumb.
It's a Stockton. Okay, that's not funny.
It's not funny. I actually saw a couple TikToks come up, but I didn't. Do you have the giggles or what?
No, it's because, okay. No.
Okay, go.
What? Just say it.
I saw a couple TikToks about it, but I didn't really go into depth. And you said that you did.
Yeah. Apparently, he's targeting in the morning, anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m. at a parking lot. And Mexican people. He just shoots them.
Is it Hispanic males? Is that what I said? What I heard?
Just Mexican people. 3 so far have been boys, and 1 was a girl, and the girl survived.
Really?
She's in really bad condition.
Oh, so she hasn't given a statement or anything? Oh, hell.
But there's this guy that popped up on my Twitter, and he's like, he goes out in the parking lot. He's like, okay, 1 person was killed here, and then 2 more down that street. And then he turns around. He's like, that's where I live. So then all the people in the comments are like, this is it, guys. We got our killer. Be like, this is like this. Everyone is like convinced like this is him. Like I feel like we're like it gives that vibe off that this is him. Like First of all, you don't say where you live, and then you're like really saying that this is where you live, because he has like a good ass view to like everything, you know.
But does he match the description?
I don't know, but obviously it's not him. You know, he
Yeah.
looks like a nice guy, good guy, but you never. Everyone in the comments is like, "We got you, we got him."
Yeah, but I guess you can't really know because I think the Midnight Walker, I think is his name, from LA también, he was super, I mean, he wasn't that mad when he got caught or whatever because he wanted to be famous. Like, he wanted
Yeah.
people to remember him as the freaking serial killer.
But that's weird. I mean, is it still considered a serial killer if you just shoot him?
Yeah, why not? Serial
I mean,
killers. What, you think that they're only serial killers if they torture them?
well, everyone else puts like effort into like capturing them and then sneaking them in and then doing stuff. But this
Or
guy just
sneaking in.
shoots them through the window. Yeah.
Do you think
runs
it's
away.
racially
Yeah, I
motivated?
think it's just a racist guy.
Yeah. But I get, because I did hear that one of the victims was white, but they're like in the night, like the dawn or whatever, yeah, he could have passed by as a Hispanic male.
Oh, okay.
So that's why because people are like, well, there was one white victim, but then as someone like actually broke it down and they're like, no, I saw the picture of him and he could pass as a Hispanic male.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I like where does he like? I feel like with the technology, I mean, Stockton is kind of like an older town, but like,
Yeah.
shouldn't there be cameras on every side? Because they got the one video of him like outside a store, right, or something in the apartments.
Yeah.
It's like, can't you follow the next camera and then the next camera?
But that's what people say. That's what a lot of people are saying. How is he getting away with all of this when in today's technology, none of this should be possible, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess people find a way. And I think we were talking about this the other day too, no, about what you think their motives are or if they're bad in the head, because going back to Jeffrey Dahmer, it shows that when his mom was pregnant with him, she was taking like 26 pills a day. And like some of them were because she was anxious. Some of them were because she couldn't sleep. She was depressed, and there was like a lot of things she was taking them for. Like she had mental health problems, and then up to the point where her husband took her to the doctor and told the doctor like, hey, like this and this and this, and the doctor told her like, I think you should hold off on like taking the pills. And she's like, how am I going to hold off if I'm sick and I need them? So then she took pills all throughout her pregnancy. And then after she gave birth, she got postpartum depression too. So she really did not give an F about Jeffrey Dahmer, like at all.
And what happened to her?
She like basically left them. She had another son. And as Jeffrey was growing up, a lot of things like affected him, I guess, because say her taking all those pills didn't let his brain develop correctly or something happened with his development. And then as he was growing, like since he was a tiny little baby, his parents fought all the time. Like they were screaming. So he developed trauma from that too. And then he just started doing like crazy stuff. And then it's crazy because actually his dad encouraged him to dissect animals.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I guess one day his mom's like, hey, I feel like something's rotting under the house, and the dad's like, okay, like I'll take a look at it. And he went out with Jeffrey. Jeffrey was, I would say, like in 5th grade maybe. He was pretty young, and it was a possum. And the dad's like, yeah, so we actually dissected a frog. And then he was saying about, I'm sure you've heard this before because you know a lot about stuff, but I guess when you dissect a frog, you can kill it, whatever. And then there's a part of the brain that if you put acid to it, the frog tries to scratch at the brain, even though it's dead. So the dad explained all of that to Jeffrey, like with the acid and all of that. So then that became his hobby, basically, was picking up roadkill and dissecting it, putting acid on it, blah, blah, blah. And he would do that in his dad's garage. And then his mom, when he was older, she told him, like, first of all, when he was 17, I believe, he was about to graduate high school, and un día llegó a la casa and his mom was in the car with his little brother, and she's like, we're leaving, Jeffrey, blah, blah, we can't do this, what? And then Jeff was like, hey, what do you mean, Mom? Like, I'm about to graduate, like, I still have a couple things I have to do. And she's like, no, like, you're staying, we're leaving. Yeah, so she left him. And then his dad started like fleeing with some girl. He ended up marrying her, I believe. So then he was never home, and he like moved in with her or something. And Jeffrey was always home. So then that's when he started doing like a bunch of creepy things. Like pues como que un día le nació. I saw that in the show he saw a guy running, and de ahí like he, I'm trying not to disrespect anybody or do anything. Like, I'm not trying to, and I'm not trying to like excuse his things, you know. But I think like kind of what I got the backstory of is that he was gay and he was kind of ashamed of it, basically. But like, I don't know, there was something, he was really obsessed with men bodies, like their bodies. So he started getting super jacked and like started running because he saw this guy running. And then como que in his brain, he was like, how can I get him? You know, like, and I guess instead of him trying to like talk to them and like sweet talk them at the beginning, he's just said, if I kill them, like, I can control what happens. Like, he doesn't have to ask them per se or do anything like that. So de ahí como que empezó.
So when's the first time he killed someone?
The first time he accidentally killed a hitchhiker. Because so this guy was hitchhiking to a concert with his friends, and then Jeffrey was just driving around town, and then the guy's like, hey, like, where are you going? And then he's like, oh, there's a concert in some town. He's like, are you going there? And then Jeffrey's like, oh, what time is it at? And the guy's like, oh, 7 p.m. And it was like pretty early, I think, in the morning. And Jeffrey's like, okay. He's like, well, how about this? You come back to my house. We have a couple beers. We lift some weights, and then I'll drive you to the town. He's like, oh, hell yeah. He gets in. He takes him to his house. They're like lifting, whatever. And then Jeffrey, what he would do is, no. At that time, he didn't have the tranquilizers or whatever yet. So at that point, he was trying to like basically do something with the guy, and the guy's like, hey, like, I'm done drinking. Ya se estaba atardeciendo. And he's like, I need to go. Like, I have to go to the concert. Are you going to take me or not? And Jeff was like, hey, like, just lift some more weights and like drink some beer. And then the guy's like, no, like, I want to go. So cuando vio que he was getting riled up trying to leave, he hit him in the head and accidentally killed him.
Because what do you mean accidentally? Like, if he's gonna hit him in the head, it's to kill him.
It was, his motive wasn't to kill him because he had never killed anybody before. So he hits him in the head, and the guy's just kind of like struggling to stay alive, basically. He's like, Jeffrey, I don't know, like, I guess he got aroused while this was all happening, and then he like started touching his body, blah, blah, blah. And then he like, como que he comes to senses a little bit, and then he sees that he's dead, like he's not unresponsive. He's like, hey, like, stop playing, like, blah, blah. And then he tries to wake him up, no, pues nada. And you know the fucked up thing, babe, is that policemen or like cops at this time, they did not give an F about saving the world at all, because they literally pull him over while he has this guy's dismembered body in his car, and he's drunk also. And then they pull him over. The cop is like, hey, man, like, have you been drinking tonight, son? He's like, no, like, just a couple beers, because he was swerving, so that's why he got pulled over. And then the guy like sees his license. He's like, hey, you know what, you have your whole life ahead of you, you know, just get your ass back home. Well, there's like a freaking body in his trunk. And, you know, so the police just sends him on his merry way. Y ya, de ahí se agarra. I think after that, it took him a long time to kill again. But that's how he started going. And then he went to the military. He went to the army. And there he was in medical combat or something. And ahí le enseñaron todo de tranquilizers, blah, blah, blah. So the first time he did it on one of his army people. And then he became a drunk. So then he got honorably discharged of the army. And then he came home, pues ya sabía todo lo que tenía que hacer. Y de ahí se agarró el compa.
Damn.
And there were so many times, babe, because so his dad was tired of him, first of all. Because first of all, Jeffrey got put down as a sex offender because he was touching himself in public at a fair. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and at that point he was living with his grandma. And so his dad was like done with him because siempre le hablaban a él. He got honorably discharged. He got fired from so many jobs. He got caught touching himself, so he was now a sex offender. So like his dad was like, what the fuck do I have to do? Like, man, like his dad always, oh my god, when he got something happened. What happened? I don't remember what happened, but he was like, oh, at this point, okay, listen to this, right? The dad was super in love with this new girl. They go out to dinner, and like they're telling Jeffrey like some things, and Jeffrey's like, Dad, like, I think we should really talk. Like, I really need to tell you something. And this was after he killed the guy. And the dad's like, what are you going to tell me? And then I think the dad, like, got kind of a hint that he was going to tell him that he liked... because he was like, I have to tell you about my fantasies. And then his dad was like, are these, like, sexual fantasies? And Jeffrey was like, yeah, somewhat. And then the dad was like, you know what? We're going to get you to go to college. And then like he completely changed the subject, which at this point I feel like he would have confessed that he killed the guy. So then he got him into Ohio State, and then Jeffrey had a 0.45 GPA. So then he got expelled. Because the dad came into the dean's office and the dean's like, hey, your son doesn't go to class, has a 0.45 GPA. The dad's like, okay, like, we'll get his grades up. And then the guy's like, no, like, he's expelled. He can't come here anymore. So then after that, he moved him into his grandma's house, and then he started doing all of this at his grandma's house, babe. He would lure guys into his grandma's house. He would tranquilize them, and then he would take them to her basement and then kill them and then put them in acid, like all of that in his grandma's house. Like his grandma would be like, Jeffrey, like there's something rotten down there, like blah blah. And then he's like, no, grandma, like it'll like it's probably a skunk. The smell will go away soon, but like the grandma would never go down there, you know. So like there was all these times where any intervention would have probably got him caught before he killed so many innocent guys. And no, like.
And did he ever say why he targeted black and Mexican and Chinese people?
I haven't gotten to that point yet, Mister.
Damn, babe. Pues yeah, you kind of spoiled the show for the whole everyone watching this. But yeah, I'm kind of intrigued.
But honestly, no, because I watched it on the airplane. Don't watch it. I was watching it on the airplane. I was watching it on a road trip, and it like, it makes you feel disgusting, to be honest. And it's just so freaking sad for the victims. So sad. So, and what pisses you off is that there were so many times where the cops could have literally caught him, and they didn't. Like once. He got I think he was a 14-year-old guy into his apartment, and he went out for beer. He was tranquilized or whatever, and he managed to get out of the apartment, go all the way outside, and his neighbor's daughter saw him, and they called the cops, and the guy was there, but he was like super out of it. He was 14 years old. The cops are there. And then Jeffrey's like turning the corner. He's like, oh shit. You know, like the cops are there. The guy's there. Then his neighbor's there. And then Jeffrey's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, this is my boyfriend. He just drinks a lot. I just want to get some more beer. And then his neighbor's like, no, like this is a child. And the cops are like, ma'am, if he says it's his boyfriend, it's his boyfriend. Like shit like that. So they could have saved this guy, and they didn't. A little boy. And they didn't, just because they just believe whatever he said.
And the cops didn't get in trouble for that? Like later down?
I don't know, babe. Hopefully I'll find out if he did. But like that's what I'm saying. Like so all of this to say that does it go to where like even when you're in the womb, like how your brain develops, how you were raised, like all the trauma, blah blah, you know, and like dissecting animals. When his dad really really encouraged him to do it, he's like, yeah, it's a fun hobby. He's into science, blah blah blah. But no, like this guy was fucked up in the head where he took all of that. And he's like, oh, I want to do this on people. Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you're watching it or if you've watched it, I would love to know what your opinion on this show is and your reaction to watching it, I guess, because a lot of people were like, this is sick. And also I want to know, because you know how there's a lot of memes about him on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter. So it's like, why do you guys think that it's super fucked up that they're making memes of him, or what's your thought process? Because I've seen a lot of memes and a lot of people that even I know share them. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, you know, because it is super sad, especially seeing that they really dove deep into the victims and their families and stuff like that. But I guess it was good. I mean, the Jeffrey Dahmer tapes are coming out in next Friday, I think, on Netflix. So I guess he'll explain everything. Like him, actually, his tapes are coming out. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's crazy that someone doesn't have to be like crazy, like yelling and screaming and being crazy to do this stuff. Because from what I got from the show and seeing his interviews, you know, he was obviously there has to be something wrong with him to do this stuff, but he looked normal, you know. And then he said that he felt guilt and he felt all that some crazy people don't feel, you know. Some people, you catch them and they're like, nah, I would do it again, and they start screaming and shit. That's who I would picture. But Jeffrey was very calm and collected, and supposedly he got like baptized and something later on in jail. But obviously someone on TikTok's like, you really think God's just gonna forgive him because he got baptized, you know? I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know. It's just, I think it's scary to think about, because he was a normal guy, and like that's how he got people to go back to his apartment, because he was so normal. He would like flirt with them, you know, make them feel special, and then you go and there's this fucking crazy ass apartment with all.
That's crazy that he got 16, 17. How many people?
I don't know. I can't remember.
That's a shit ton.
Yeah, a lot of people. And also it's crazy that the apartment in the show is literally the exact same as to how it was.
Really?
They really, really like, I think they executed it perfectly to how it was.
Do you think like how long would it take you? Say you saw the same like clues at our other apartment. Like how long would it take you to call the police?
I think you would just call it right away.
Like what? Like what would have to be the
Because,
smell
yeah.
that would make you call
No,
cops?
no, even because obviously the thin walls, so she could hear them screaming. She could hear drills in the middle of the night, and she would always call the cops, and the cops always wrote her off. She's like, "Ma'am, every time we go, like he's normal, blah, blah," you know. Yeah. So it's like the smell, really, 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 like she would call them and no, like no hacía nada. Basically, like she could have
They
saved
just wouldn't
so many
go?
people. Sometimes they would go, but when they would like talk to him at his door, he was fine. Because you saw like the first episode when they like actually went in and saw shit. There was a point where a cop went into his house and he just kind of like glanced around. But if he would have walked like a little bit more in, he would have seen a dead body right there.
Damn.
Yeah, like these cops did not give a hell. And then they would ask him, like the black cop, one of the detectives told him like, why did you target black men? And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, you're living in their like area, you know. He like, you moved into these apartments. Like, no, sir, that's just all I could afford. But it's like, you know, I'm excited to hear. Not excited, but I'm sorry. That was a wrong word to use. I'm curious to find out what his motive was. Because like, why them? And
I
why
just
not
feel
just
like
others?
we shouldn't have made the show in the first place.
You don't think so?
No, just like,
so you don't think they should have made any shows about serial killers?
No, none. Like I don't know. I feel like that's fucked up. Say like your great grandpa was one of the victims. Mm-hmm. You know,
like the Midnight Walker. One of the because you know how he targeted. Well, I don't even remember exactly what he targeted, but it was elderly people basically.
I think Was he the one that would go when the door was open?
Yeah, like he would just check and check. So when that came out that he was targeting them, one of the granddaughters spoke out and she's like, I called my grandparents and told them to lock their doors. But I think that they were the type, they were like, nah, like what? I've never slept with my door locked. Why am I gonna lock it now?
Yeah. I never write those things off. Like when someone tells me something, I always like, because that's how you end up on a movie or on a show, you know, like in the wildfires in Colorado. I remember last year the granddaughter called her grandparents like, get out, like, you know, the fire's going straight to you. And then the grandparents were like bien aferrados because they had a bunker like underground. Mm-hmm. So they're like, no, we're just gonna tough it out here in our bunker. Like that's what a bunker is for like emergencies. And they went in there and little did they know their bunker was waterproof. It was all this shit proof, gas proof, but it was not heat proof. So se asaron like if it was a freaking oven in there. And they died. And it's what they didn't listen to their granddaughter their daughter or whatever, like on leaving. And they could have just grabbed their car and left, you know, like why, like same thing with the hurricanes, same thing with like tornadoes when they get calls and it's like, you know, you should have left. Like I just finished watching American Underdog. Y también like the grandparents, like they could have left. There was like a grade 4 tornado and then they died. So it's like, I don't know. I don't care like if it's the slightest risk of like here in Colorado in Longmont. Remember when the river flooded? Mm-hmm. And it's a river, you know, and it's not like the whole ocean, like a hurricane. But even with the river, we evacuated and we left. And
you evacuated?
Yeah, because we had the river right next to Burlington. Remember?
Oh damn!
So that one was supposedly gonna reach like Kemprat, like and all that water. No, it didn't. But it did go to Burlington. So we were like, even us, we flooded and it was a river, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know why people play with like hurricanes. I understand that a lot of people don't have financial means to leave, you know, but if you can afford a little bit of gas in your tank and then drive north or whatever, then just do it, because nothing in your house is worth, you know, dying for.
I mean, just take your valuables like birth certificates and stuff, but at the end of the day, nothing is worth more than your life.
I saw that. Did you see the videos of the hurricane? Like the people, I saw this lady, she inflated a bed. She was just floating in her living room, like with all the water. It was up to like half she was just floating.
Why?
And then all the TikTok comments like, oh my God, girl, like, how are you so calm? Like, what the fuck? And then the other comments were older. They're like, no update yet. Like, are you okay? Like, let us know. I don't know. I haven't seen it on my page yet, but that's kind of scary.
That was so sad what the hurricane did to, what is it, Fort Myers?
Fort Myers, yeah.
I saw the it's like the beach before and the beach after.
Did you see
Holy
the
shit.
the bay before the hurricane? How it
Yeah,
sucks all the water
yeah.
out?
Yeah, that's when people
That is
say, like, if
so
you start
weird.
seeing water receding, you gotta run, girl.
Damn, I didn't know hurricanes did that.
You didn't know
No,
that,
but that
babe?
was
Come on.
so cool. I would be in there like looking at all the shells and shit you could find. Imagine.
Oh yeah, and I feel like that's super scary because I guess because I was gonna say when you have kids it changes, but like
Yeah.
grandparents like they have so many kids and grandkids and they still kind of want to just
Yeah.
stay. But I feel like elderly people are very, como se dice,
Stubborn.
stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Because even I like think about my grandpa and like how he when he tells scary stories, it's so cool because he's like,
Yeah.
you know, he goes into depth with it, and then you're like, oh well, like did you leave? Did you move out? He's like, no, like I just lived with it. And I'm like, people, elderly people just like I
Well, it's
want to
also like
know.
the money. Like if your house is haunted, okay,
True.
babe. Let's say we bought this house,
Fuck
right?
no.
Say we bought this house and we weren't obviously we have all this debt and mortgage and stuff, and then like let's say like because I feel like ghosts are if there are ghosts they're smarter than they're smart.
Then
You
to
know
haunt you
they
on the
were
first week.
yeah, then to haunt you on the on your tour of the house, you know, like
Yeah.
so say you're like 3 months in, like you just can't get out of a mortgage, and you know how the government is. You can't say my house is haunted.
I'd rent it.
What would you do?
I'd rent it out.
No, you have to legally wait. I think a year to rent a place,
I would rent it out under the table.
and then but then people would be like, why? Like, let's say you get away with it with the first, second family, but then you're gonna be known as the girl that rents out her haunted house.
Well, then by that time it's gonna be already 2 years, so then I can sell it.
True. But I mean,
Dude,
you're thinking about like the perfect case, like you have equity in the house. Like say
Okay.
no, let's I'm gonna make it. If you're gonna make it easy, then I'll make it harder. Let's say you bought it for 800,000, and 2 years later it's gone down to 700. So you can't. You're not selling shit.
I don't know what I would do, babe. Honestly, because I don't play with that. Guys, it's so funny. So we moved into this house, right? And then two days later, I think, Jonathan comes
Oh,
home
shit.
literally yellow pale. Like it looked like he had just seen a ghost. And I'm like, "Are you okay, babe?" And he's like, "Guess what?" And then he tried to scare me. He was like, "I think we moved into Chris Watts' house."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, we didn't." I was like, "I thought the same thing, but I looked it up. I actually went in depth and looked at the house." But tell them, babe, tell them how you felt.
But the house, guys, from the outside looks identical. Because if you guys don't know the whole Chris Watts story on Netflix and then here, it actually happened in the town we're living. So all the houses, obviously, they have the same builder and stuff. So they look the same from the outside. We're in those neighborhoods where like there's like 4 different type of styles of houses.
Yeah.
You do know
But
you
they all
got
look the same.
You got the one floor, then this weird, and then by the fourth time you see it, it's like back to your house, you know.
Yeah.
So obviously it happens so that this house and then the one from Chris Watts, they look identical from the outside. I think just the windows on the other side, but the same color and the same driveway and stuff. So when I saw it, guys, like it's like one of those times where someone like scares you and like you actually feel your balls and your heart drop and everything, and it's like. I thought it was because I had talked to the neighbors and they said that for some reason this house hadn't been rented in like 4 months, and like that's a long time for a house just to be like open like that. All the weeds were long and not taken care of. So yeah. When I saw it, then I like looked and I checked the address and it just was a different address.
Yeah. Yeah. And when he came in, I was like, I felt the same way because even when
Because we were in a contract of 1 year.
Exactly. And I was like, we're either going to have to lose a lot of money or just, you know. But no, because I think Chris Watts' house to this day, like people still take flowers to it and stuff just to like to pay their respects to the
Because I know that it's just so many little things that added up. Like I remember, like I think this year was the first year it was going up again on sale or being rented out. So I saw it, remember that, and like all these little, so it really
What do you think
comprised
people's like what goes through people's head? Like maybe I'm pretty sure they put it up way cheaper than it was, right?
Let's say it's even like $1,000 cheaper. Like
Yeah.
who would wanna?
Exactly.
And if someone does go and live there, then I think they should get investigated because they give Jeffrey Dahmer sick vibes. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm fine with 2 little girls and a wife being killed in this house, and I'm gonna sleep. If you can sleep good at night, or like not even, or like risk. I mean, I guess there's always people in need, right? You know,
Yeah.
but then again, this is a nice area, so I don't think people with like a budget would be like, renting.
Shopping there. I don't know, honestly, because we were even talking about it, huh? Like, how do you think their neighbors feel? Because even just a week ago, I saw on TikTok that one of the neighbors called the cops because they're like, I saw Shannon walking back into her house. And they're like, maybe it was a ghost or maybe someone's breaking into the house, you
Yeah.
know? So they literally, the cops went, I didn't watch the whole video because I'm a pussy, but the cops like went in, and I guess people, it's like the body camera, and people on the comments were like, oh my God, did you see the shadow? Did you see this? Did you see that? And I guess people say that when you go, there's been people that go and they see like shadows in the stairs, they see all of that. But I'm like, if you can, just by like living next to it, don't you think like that makes you, even you were saying, huh? You're like, you think they can just have a cookout in the backyard like normal? Or
Or
do you
just
think,
like imagine leaving, or say you went to a concert and you're coming home at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
like,
And I always think about the guy that saw and that caught on camera Chris Watts backing into his garage about to put them in the bodies in the car. I'm like, imagine that guy when he's like, oh, I saw that. Like, that happened next to my house. And the fact that all these people were like their friends. Like, imagine you just find out that your friend killed his whole family. Yeah. Just because, like, do you think there has to be something wrong with his head, or that it was just his caprichos, that he wanted to be with his amante?
I think there was something wrong with his head. Because I don't know. I feel like if it hadn't been for that video or him acting so nervous, he could have maybe gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Because the bodies were already like decomposed, right?
Really?
Like in the oil site. Know. So, yeah, I don't know.
You think that they would have never found them?
Probably not. Like, these oil things are so deep and like so far out there. And I think he had it for like concrete was going to be poured like in a few weeks. So like these bodies were going to be under there for the rest of humanity, you know? Up until like 100 years later, maybe that building goes down or something. But yeah, that shit's crazy.
Could you, like, oh my God, I can't even imagine hurting your child in the slightest. Now
or
imagine
for like another woman.
Oh my God. That's like, everyone just kept saying, you could have just left. You could have just asked for a divorce. You could have just.
Even as ugly as it would get, like her obviously taking everything from him. But like, what? At the end of the day, you're still with this lady, this amante.
And like, now what? You're rotting in prison. Yeah.
He had a really good job in the oil.
He did.
So I don't know, man. That's fucked up.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know, but that was crazy. And it's crazy to think about, because I like to think now, as a person that I am now, the person I've become or whatever, I've gotten into my mature stage in a way where I don't really let things bother me, like noises, like if I hear something. But obviously there's a couple of days where like I'm really, really weak and I'm a good target for all the noises in the house. But it's like I kept putting myself in that position, like, what if we were in a house where maybe it has history of being haunted, or maybe that like someone died in here or something like that. And I'm like, I think that I would just go through all of that and like lose all the money, because I think to break a lease you obviously lose your deposit, and then you have to pay like twice the rent or something, no?
Yeah.
So that would be like, what,
you would pay all that,
$15,000?
like, what would it? Okay, let's just play a game, because I want to get into creepy vibes here where we're about to end it. So
would you rather?
I'm gonna get a little creepy here.
Okay.
Say one day, it's a first week you're here, everything, the sun's coming in through the window. I'm not here because I'm out or whatever, and then you just hear someone walking downstairs.
Oh my fucking
And you go downstairs, you build the courage up, and then you go and there's no one. I mean, the ozone hasn't barked, Chai hasn't barked. And then whatever, I come home, you tell me about it, I'm like, baby, it's just the creaks. And then we go to sleep, and we go to sleep at night, and all of a sudden we hear someone knock at the door, like on our door when we're sleeping. Ozo gets up, barks, and
Chai
like
the bedroom door?
Yeah, like our bedroom door. No. And I grab what I got in the room, and I go check it out, and there's no one. So we're super spooked, because we heard a knock, and we go to your mom's house. We grab Franco, we grab our dogs, and we go, and then we call the cops because we heard a knock, and they sweep in. There's no one home. So now we're at your mom's house, and we're like, fuck, like we have to go back to our house. We got stuff. We got the dogs' food is there. We got to feed them. And then you're telling me to go by myself, and whatever. Your dad comes with us. Your dad's a big big guy. He's scary looking. So we somehow convinced your mom and your dad to spend the night with us when we're back. So everything's going good. No noises, no nothing. Your dad has to go back to work. Obviously, your mom will live her schedule out. So at this point, you probably don't want me to be like leave the house at all if you're there. But let's just say the night rolls around again, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, Ozo starts crying, and then Chais starts gets under the bed, and then we just hear someone running in the hallway, like full on sprint running.
Oh my god!
So
I would literally, if I wouldn't have died of a heart attack, then I would.
So then we're like, fuck, like, you know, someone's in the house again. We call the cops this time because if it's running, you know, we're gonna stay in the room. The cops show up. They're getting kind of fatigued. They're like, you know, this is the second time, blah blah blah. So then what? We go to your parents again? Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, we go to your mom's. This time you really don't want to come back. But let's say we have to, right? Because we paid a whole bunch of money. We're paying rent, and we got to film podcasts and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, you're cooking, and I'm upstairs with Franco, and you're cooking downstairs something light. And then all of a sudden, you just feel like someone whispering in your ear, and like,
oh my god!
so what would you do at that point?
I would just go to my mom's house, break the lease, pay the money, girl.
No, but let's say it was like at least $10,000.
I don't care.
You would pay $10,000,
yes.
babe. And then what do? You look for another house?
Yeah.
In
Or
Colorado,
just stay at my
lose
mom's house
10,000?
for a long
Okay,
time.
but so you would rather pay 10,000? Would you try at least?
I think the first time it happens, right? We get super scared. I think then I bring a priest in and I'm like, you know what? Can you just bless the house? You know, because usually it gets to the point. Say that doesn't work, and then I'm still experiencing that.
Mm-hmm. This time it's mad. So you wake up with Franco wakes up with his legs scratched.
Yeah, babe, I don't care. Like, what? I'm paying $10,000 and I'm getting out.
So you, after a priest, you wouldn't call the couple, the exorcist couple?
I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna do it like the haunted house. I don't give up. I'm leaving. No,
you wouldn't call the experts?
No, I have nothing to do.
Let me tell you
oh,
this.
you don't want me to be in your house? I'm leaving.
No,
girl.
babe. Let me tell you this.
No.
You know the houses we really want by the lake,
Yeah.
the mansions.
Oh yeah, those are pretty.
Say there was a school. It was the most perfect. The view, the neighbors.
I'm not buying it.
Your best friends were your neighbors.
I'm not buying it.
You had the
I'm
most.
not buying it.
No, I'm saying to get out.
To get out?
Yeah, you already bought
Oh.
it. It's your dream house, babe.
Oh, then I would try to bring someone in and be like, get this.
No, I'm saying
fucking
it's
demon
no.
out of my house.
Don't picture this house because I know this isn't your dream house.
Oh, you're talking
I'm
about
saying
our
picture your
dream house, and
dream
we already
house.
bought it.
Yes.
The first scenario you said this house, and it was
sorry.
10,000.
No, I mean dream
That's
house.
at that point. Yeah, I'm paying the 10,000. But if it's my dream house in the lakeside, we have the lake in our backyard.
The neighbors are like one neighbor is unos viejitos that never bother us, always bring us cakes, and then the other one's like a young couple that are
yeah.
super
Then
cool.
at that point, I probably
we have a boat already.
Yeah, I would bring a priest in.
Say that doesn't work. You bring the
I
experts
would bring
in.
the experts in.
Say that.
John and Lorraine Warren.
What if they're like, fuck,
or Ed and Lorraine
this
Warren.
is strong. We've never felt this before.
Then I'm selling the house.
Babe, you wouldn't fight for a dream house?
How would you fight a demon?
Just tough it out.
You don't want me in your house, I'm gonna leave.
No, be like, this is my house. I'm not leaving.
No way.
It's
either you or me. Like, how is a demon just gonna leave the house?
Because you're not gonna leave either.
And how
so
is it
you're
gonna
be
leave?
like, you're gonna have to kill me.
It's qué chido.
But I don't
Pues
think
me
demons-
mata y
I don't
luego
think
he
demons
stays at
kill.
his house.
But at that point, you don't want it to possess
I
you.
think, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I would just be so scared of it doing something, because obviously it's gonna hurt the people that you love. So it's probably, if it hurts you, you're like, fuck it. But if it hurts the person that you love, I'm leaving. And I all these scary movies like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, and they just don't leave. I'm like, girl, if the demon wants to stay in his house and wants me out, I'm gonna get out. You know, I'm not gonna fight supernatural beings that maybe the priest comes, it stops for a week, but the next week it comes back harder, you know?
Yeah.
I'm getting out. I'm getting out, and I'm
You
paying
just have
the
to
money.
look for another dream house.
Yeah, and I it's crazy because there's so many things you could do, right? You can buy a new build, buy blah blah blah, but then you never know what was in esos terrenos, you know?
Yeah.
What if they're building on top of a cemetery that was a cemetery years and years ago?
Did you know that Tampa, they had Native Americans and they supposedly blessed the land, and that's why hurricanes. I don't know. Don't quote me on never, but they've had another hurricane scare, and it always last minute deters and never hits
Oh
them.
yeah, I did hear that.
That's cool, huh?
Because I remember
Damn,
there
shout
was
out to the natives, man.
yeah, there was a TikTok that was like me thanking the natives for blessing our land, blah blah blah. That is so fucking crazy.
That's cool. That gives me like Twilight vibes.
But it's like the natives like blessed land, whatever. But there's so many things that you can believe too, like witches that curse land, or like witches that curse a house or something. Like whatever happens, this is So that's what I feel like I would never. Because I'm literally a pussy. Like, whatever happens, if I hear something, I automatically think it's a demon, right? So, no, I'm not going to do anything to fight it. Or, like, if a blessing doesn't help it, like, then that's a demon,
I feel like I would, if I didn't have your Franco and I was, like, really rich and stuff and I had the opportunity to buy a haunted house, I think I would.
Yeah, I'm sure you would because you're a psychopath. But say
I'm
okay.
not saying I wouldn't get out in, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you would hold it for, like, rent or Airbnb if you want to stay.
I would try to, like... I'd be like, yo, can we negotiate?
But what would you do? Say I was like super not scared of nothing. Like, would you just stay?
Yeah, I think
you just live with
I think to the point where like it like literally like physically hurts us. Like you wake up with scratches. But say you just keep seeing shit like stuff at the end of the hallway or running or noises. I'd be like, keep it up. Like,
so say you wake up one morning, because you usually wake up or like go downstairs, whatever. Say you wake up one morning, you start walking, and there's like a little girl sitting at the bottom of the stairs. You're just gonna walk through past her?
I'm just gonna be like, turn around or talk to me. Like literally, you talk to me. Like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Like, don't you have better things to do?
And what if they never?
Because at that point, like no, you're saying like I legit see a little girl. Because at that point, it's not like, oh, the light, babe. I thought I saw
like
something.
you hear stuff.
No, she's there. She's sitting. I mean, like, look, if you have your hair over your face, move it. We're gonna talk.
Okay. And
because at that point, I'm not trying to sound like a manly man. I feel like at that point, I would be so shocked that I'm not running up. I would be more intrigued because you know how I'm a nerd. I would be like, okay, like, this is cool. Like, I'm actually seeing something. Like,
okay, so say that.
Can you talk? Like, let's talk.
Say you can't get her to talk. And you're just having a standoff right there.
Then I'm jumping off the stairs with both feet and I'm going straight for her face.
Okay, and what if you do that?
Do I go straight through her? Or do I actually hit something?
No, you go straight through
I go straight through her. Then I start taking videos and pictures and I start recording live on Instagram.
Okay, and what if it doesn't show up on videos and pictures, but only you can see it?
Only me?
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, fuck, okay, just don't move. Stay right here. And I wouldn't move in front of her. And then I would call you or call the cops and be like, are you guys seeing this?
Okay, and then no one sees it.
No one sees this? Then I would be like, all right, call the priest, call a scientist. Call a scientist for sure. Because to diagnose... No, I would call a doctor, be like, can you diagnose me right here? Because
I'm fucking...
Just to know, just so you can see that I'm not crazy or nothing's wrong with my eyes. Cause maybe
right, but don't you think that as soon as you say something like that, they're gonna be like, this guy's a fucking crazy
No,
guy.
I feel like at this point, like remember when I called the cops on I feel like the cops, they didn't give me a bad, like you're crazy, you're stupid vibe. Maybe they were, I don't know. I just feel like all the stories that other people tell us about cops, they're always bad and they have a really bad experience with them. But all the experiences, especially here in Longmont, the cops are so freaking nice, guys. I love the cops here.
Well, thank God that we haven't had a bad experience with them.
They're so nice. So the time I called the cops on the ghost, it was like the girl was kind of taking charge and then she was surrounded by a whole bunch of guy cops. She made me feel really like safe. And then when I told her, I was like, look, I'm not what did I say? I'm not
a dumb teenager.
I'm not
trying to prank you.
Yeah, I'm not a dumb teenager trying to prank you. Or look, I'm not recording. Nothing's. It's just I'm really scared. She's like, no, we completely understand. Like it's okay. Like it's better to be safe than sorry. Like if you even so much feel you're at danger for a little bit, you should call the cops. So that I feel like they've experienced shit before.
Yeah.
So they know. But I feel like in today's day, it's like so. Like, dude, it's not Jeffrey Dahmer times, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if I think I saw a ghost, I'm calling the cops, and you're coming, and stop. Don't even try to look at me like that. But,
yeah, I don't know, guys.
But don't you think it'd be so scary to be a freaking cop? Guys, fun fact: I tried to be a cop. Well, I wanted to be a cop a few years ago, and I was because we were watching Criminal Minds at the time, like binge watching it. I thought this was super cool. Like, I don't know, I just loved it. But then little stories came up on my Reddit and on like Mr. Nightmare and stuff. It's like cops that would like there's a crackhead in the house. You know, they're screaming. They're and you have to go in there. Or like the one you said where they saw Cheryl. What's her name? Shannon. Yeah, and you have to go in there with your flashlight, like, because I'm assuming the power is not working, so it's not like they just flip the lights. You have to, with your little flashlight, go in every room because your main objective is someone broke in. So not only are you scared that you're trying to find a potentially dangerous real life person, but then when you don't, you're like, fuck, there's a spirit in here. And now you and your partner broke up. He's expecting the bottom and you're expecting the top, and you're by yourself, and you know there was a murder.
Would it be me?
Fuck. And then at that point, you're a cop. You can't be like, yo, man, like, I don't fuck with this paranormal stuff. Like, I can't go in there. Okay, then you're fired. Or we need you for every case, you know, not just, you know, whatever.
No.
Fuck.
That's
yeah.
a no
Shout out to
from me.
cops, man. Who, if you know anyone that would have to deal
Seriously.
with paranormal shit like that.
Yeah, I follow a couple security guards on TikTok, and they're like, yeah, like, I'm scared of going in and doing my night inspection, but what the hell am I gonna do? Like, this is my job, you know? He's like, like, imagine like
You would never catch me being a security guard like at a hospital late at night.
Oh hell no! Or like at a cemetery where you have to go and make sure that no one's like
I
breaking
remember
in.
I had to, when we had Franco, I had to go at night. Oh, it was late at night and we DoorDashed or something, and tú aferrada que querías spoons or straws or something, and I had to go to the cafeteria.
Oh yeah.
But there was like, I could feel that I was being looked at, you know?
But it's also crazy because it's a brand new hospital,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, maybe people have died in there, whatever. But like, imagine like the hospitals that have been here for a
the
long
old
time
ones,
that actually had the morgue.
But
down-
imagine the
Wait,
people...
do all hospitals have the morgue down in the basement?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine being an employee that has to go down there.
Like, because something that baffles me is people that prepare the dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like the people that do their makeup.
Those people
the
shouldn't be
that...
inspected too. I think I think these lists have to go to the FBI.
Yeah, I think so. And
Like,
obviously,
you probably
something
don't even know
happens.
it.
Yeah.
Say I apply for a morgue job and they're just, oh, your credit, your social background check, whatever. The things normal Chick-fil-A jobs do. But I'm sure they have a little record of like, say a murder happens here in Longmont. I feel like if they don't have any leads, I feel like they check all the employees at the morgues or whoever like cleans these bodies.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, tall. Let's say they have one witness. It was a tall brown female. And the morgue girl that prepares them is a tall brown female. Like, don't you think they would be like, hey, like, I know you probably have nothing to do with it, but like, we need to ask you some questions. Because they can't be completely right. Because I feel like every human being, a normal human being, has a flight reaction or scared reaction, right? Like the people that are like, I'm not scared of scary movies. And then it's like, okay, bro, like you're cool, but also you're kind of fucked. Like, what have you seen in life or what's going on this does not scare you?
Pues también tú, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I feel like I'm brave in the sense that like I'll do what I have to do, but it's not that I'm not scared.
No, you are scared. You're
I am
just brave.
scared.
Oh,
I'm just
that makes sense.
What's that quote I told your mom the other day? Bravery is not doing something you're not scared of. It's doing something scary and you still do it scared. Bravery is not doing something you're not scared of. Bravery is being scared and still doing it.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
you go. So I feel like I'm brave because say I saw a little girl at the end of our hallway at night. And I would go check it out. Not because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so brave. No, I'd be
you're so
like,
scared
I
that
got
you
my
wanna
son. I
see.
need to protect him and
But
you. And
couldn't be me. I see a girl down the stairs. I'm running the opposite way and calling the cops. Actually, calling you. Oh,
don't call me, babe. Fucking call the cops right away.
No, but yeah, guys.
Anyways, we gotta go, babe. We gotta go.
Yeah, I get really, really scared of a lot of things. So even right now with this talk, I'm already spooked.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, we're number one pussy here. So anyways, let's get going.
Guys, we have something super cool planned for today. Go follow us on Instagram if you want to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm going to tell you anyways. We're going to go to a Broncos game right now. Thursday Night Football. But we're actually getting a VIP experience. I was able to surprise Blanca with it. So, and Franco. Because I want him to be like, I was a Broncos fan since 8 months I went to a game. You know? So we're going to go do that. So make sure you follow us on... Hopefully the stories are still live when you're seeing this. But yeah, later, guys.
Yeah, I hope we didn't spook you enough. But I'm like happy that we make these up at 6 a.m. because actually no. Imagine you're getting ready and you're listening to us and then you have to go out into the dark.
Oh fuck! Go turn your car
I'm
on.
so sorry, girl. But thank you guys so much for listening and have a happy Friday. But we will see you next Friday.
Later.